Hello, this is Dr. Kenneth Watanabe, and today I will continue with my demonstration of the Database Table Maker version 4.0. In my previous video, I showed how to enter data into database tables created by the Database Table Maker, and we created some patient records. However, when I went through creating the patient records, there were no default values. So let's say in our hypothetical doctor's office, we're located in Springfield, Illinois, and the city and state is almost always going to be Springfield, Illinois. So having to type in the city and state, the same city and state over and over again, is cumbersome. And also, none of these fields are mandatory. So if I want to, I can leave the first name, last name blank and just click Create Record, or I can leave them all blank and click Create Record, and it'll create a blank patient record. So to avoid this, I came up with the concept of templates. So to create a template, we click on this template tile here, and we pick a table name, so patient, and then we would put a name for our template, let's say Springfield. And here we will put all the fields that we want to prompt for. So first name, last name, etc. I got a button here called Load All Fields, which will just load all the fields in the table. And for fields I don't want to display, I can just click this Remove button here, and that will, for instance, not just prompt for ethnicity. And then we can put some default values here. For instance, Springfield, Illinois. And I can make these read only so that the user can't modify them. So if they pick the Springfield template and want to put Chicago here, they're not going to be able to. I'll also make the first name, last name, and date of birth mandatory. And I'll use, and this copy flag here is if you're creating multiple patients at the same time, you want to copy some information from the last patient entered to the next. So for example, I'll click some of these fields as copy. So we can see, so I can demonstrate how that works. So when we're done, I click Save Template, and now we've created the Springfield template. So now, when I enter records, I can click on this Enter Modify Records, and here I would select my Springfield template. Okay, I click Go here, and notice the city and state are read-only. I can't modify them. And also notice here the first name, last name, and date of birth. There's an arrow, a greater than symbol here. So if I try creating a record without filling those in, it will give an error because this arrow means they're mandatory. So and notice the ethnicity prompt is not showing up. So let's create a hypothetical person from Springfield, Homer Simpson, and his date of birth is in let's say August 12th, 1985. And he's male. We'll put a phone number 123 123 124, and an address 123 A Street, and a zip code. Okay. Now I can click Create Record, and that creates a record. It records who created it. That's me, and when it was created, and assigns a unique identifier. Now, if I want to create another record, I just click on this. And notice it copied the last name, the phone number, and the zip code, because those are the fields that had the copy flag, and cleared out everything else. So now I can add another record, Marge Simpson, and let's say she's born in August 10th, let's say 1988. She's female, and she also lives at 123 A Street. And I can click Create Record. Okay, and if I click Done, it will just stay at the current record that's selected. Now let's create some visits. Let's clear this and go back to Homer Simpson. And let's create a visit. To create a visit, you go to the Visit tab and click on this blank area. And we can pick a visit date, a visit type. Let's say he came in because he was ill, he has a cough and a fever. And we'll record his weight, 290. He's a big guy. His blood pressure, 130 over 85. And he has a fever, so we'll say 101.1. We'll create a visit. And now we want to create some specimens. So we click here. Now here we also have a lot of fields here. And one of the fields here is the text ID, which we want to be a unique textual representation of what this specimen is. And, we want to enter these, there's a lot of data entry. So what we'll do is we'll create a template for the specimen table, because we can create templates for any table. So let's go to templates. And this time we'll select specimen. We'll call this a blood, say for blood specimens. So we'll load all the fields. The specimen type will be blood, and the quantity is typically 10, and the units are in milliliters. And let's say the collector is almost always Florence Nightingale. Okay. We'll set the blood and the units as read only, but if Florence Nightingale is out of the office for some reason, we may need to change this, so we won't make this a read only. And we'll set the status as collected, and we'll put the location as lab 1. Okay? And save the template. Now we want to set the time collected to default to the current time. And I can't hard code a time in here like 10 o'clock because, the time is variable. So to set a default value for time collected, we'll use what's known as template actions. So if I click on this button here, there are three routines here. There's a pre-entry. This routine gets called before the user actually has the opportunity to enter any data. And then the post entry is after they filled out the data and click the create record button. So in the pre-entry, what we want to do is we have this values array, and the values array contains all the fields of all these fields here. So we want to set the time field, and we want to set it to the current time. So to do that, we'll use this time function, time strf time, and we want to do the hours and a colon and then the minutes. Okay. Now this time function is part of this time module, and to get more information on how to do that, Google Python time module and select this docs.python.org time link. And if you scroll down, it will show you all the different things that you can pass to it. Capital H means a 24-hour clock, and this capital M is minutes. We can pass other things like capital Y for the year, or B for the abbreviated month name, etc. So those are different values that we can enter here. Okay, so this will set the default value for the time, and we want to generate a unique text ID. I'll set this as read only because this will be automatically created from our post entry. This is after they filled out all these fields and clicked the create record button. And to do that, we'll say values text ID equals, and this is a blood specimen, so we want to begin with BL for blood dash, and then we want to add year. So to do that, I put time.strf time, and the current year is %capital Y. Okay, so that will give us the current year, followed by a dash, followed by, and let's put the visit ID. So that will be the values sub visit, and then we'll follow that with a dot, and then an incrementing number. So we'll use this function called increment. This increment function is part of this TM increment module. It takes two values, a field name, visit.identifier, and then a value for that field, and that would be this values sub-visit. Copy, and let's paste that here. Okay, so that is how we will populate the text ID field. And then here in the post create, we can use this to this is after they click the submit key and create the record, we can use this to print labels and such. The values field here is exactly the same as the values field, values array up here, except it will have one additional entry, and that will be the values sub identifier, and that will be a unique number that's associated with a record after it's created. Okay, so let's save this and let's create some blood records, blood specimens. So we'll go back to our Homer Simpson patient, visits, and here we will create some blood specimens. So to select the template, we click on template here, and I can select the blood template and click continue. And notice that it updated the time collected field with the current time. The text ID is blank, but it will be updated after I click the submit button. And so the quantity is 10, collectors Florence Nightingale, lab 1. Everything is already filled out, so all I have to do is click create record. And it created a record, and see, it did exactly what I wanted it. BL 2020-5, which is a visit, .1, the first specimen. And if I want to create another, I just click create record, and I create another one, and then I can do the same. And notice it created these specimens .1, 2, and 3. See? So that's how you create, that's how we utilize templates to facilitate data entry. Now that we've entered data into the database, the next step is extracting the data out. To do this, we use queries. To create a query, click on the Query Data tile and select the table name, for example, specimen. Okay. Now we can either select an existing query from the pull-down, and that will display the query criteria, or to create a new query, you can just enter a unique query name here and a description. So all specimens from patients born after 1985. And here we select the field names for our criteria. We can select any field from the specimen table or any of its parent tables. So the parent of the specimen table is the visit table, and the parent table of the visit table is the patient table. So we can select where all patients' date of birth is greater than or equal to 1985, and where the specimen type equals blood, or specimen type equals urine, or specimen type equals nasal swab. Oops. Specimen type equals nasal swab. And we should put parentheses around here so that the specimen type criteria get evaluated first, and we should set these to ORs. So the specimen type is either blood, urine, or nasal swab, and the date of birth is greater than 1985. The next step is to select the columns. To select the columns to be displayed, we click on this columns button. And then here we can enter the columns to be displayed. Um, it, if you what we can also do is we can click this load all button, and this will load all the columns that are available to be displayed. Now I typically put the patient columns first, so let me change the sort order so the patient information gets displayed first. We don't need the address or phone number information, so I'll just remove those. And then we'll go to the visit, and then we'll display the visit data. So we'll display the visit date, the visit type, and we probably don't need the notes or the weight, but we'll keep the blood pressure and temperature. And then we'll display the temperature, the specimen information. We'll do the text ID, specimen type, when it was collected, the quantity, the units. And we'll do the collector, the status, and I guess we don't need the location. So we'll just hide that. And then we click Save. And now we can execute the query. Oh, also, we can change this information. So say we just want to say temp, short for temperature. We can alter the column labels, and then we can click Execute Query. And then to view the results, we click View Results. And then here we see all the column names in the proper order. Notice it says temp dot because I changed the column name. And that's about it. So that's how you create a query. Now that we can create queries, the next step is to be able to view the query results graphically. To do that, we'll use dashboards. To create a dashboard, click on this dashboard tile here and enter a unique dashboard name. Let's say patients 1985, and this will be all patients born after 1985. And then here we would select our query, let's say all patients, and we select which category we want to plot. So this category are all the fields that are displayed in the all patients query. So let's select gender, and let's try a pie chart. We'll put a chart title, and then we click Create Update Dashboard. Okay. And then to view the dashboard, we just click View Dashboard. Okay. And that's a pie chart of the genders of the patients born after 1985, male, female, and a lot of them did have a gender specified. We can also create bar charts, gender bar, and I can save the changes and click View Dashboard, and this is what it will look like as a bar chart: none, male, female. Okay. I have an example dashboard with lots of charts on it. So when I view this dashboard, this is what it would look like. This is what a line chart would look like, and these are bar and pie charts. If you select date as your category, the dates are displayed at an angle so that they don't overlap each other. In the pie charts, I made the top two categories at the top part of the pie chart, because if the categories are very small, if very small categories are near the top, that might interfere with the title. So this is what the various types of charts look like. So, and that's about it. If you like the software, if you're interested in the software, please download it at kenawatanabe.com. Under the bioinformatics pull down, select database table maker, and you can download the software. So please download the software. It's free. If you like the software, please feel free to make a donation, as this is my only source of income. Thank you for watching.